Hello guys, you're welcome to this channel. Thanks for coming back again if you're a subscriber. And if you're yet to subscribe, just click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That will let you know when we drop our video. So I quickly want to run the analysis on the NECO physics practical mechanics. So we're going to look at this diagram you're seeing. Now, according to the materials that is asked to be provided, so you will have to set up a similar diagram to this, and I will give my explanation on everything there. So you have the two pulley, one at A, one at B, and then the broken line B represents a line you are going to draw yourself. Though we are going to go through the procedure and see how it is done. So the twine that is meant to produce, to be used is just like a thread. So you can use thread in place of that. So the line that runs from A to O and C to O, with O to mass M and C to mass M naught, they are all threads. So the first thread will be placed into the pulley A, and it will be fixed. Meanwhile, the other part of the thread will be extended through the pulley C and down, connected to mass M naught. So of which the mass is going to be constant, and you are going to make it in that position throughout the experiment. So you are going to vary the mass big M according to that diagram. So I would show you typically how the diagram looks like. So sorry that I won't be able to perform the experiment due to unavailability of some material, but I hope uh, as time goes on, so we'll get our own mini lab so that we can always give you what you want, the practical experience of everything. So thank you for watching. So now the next is, let's look at the slide of the video where you see how this looks like, and then I'll have to explain what you are going to do in order to make this arrangement and how to go through the procedure. So this is actually how the diagram is interpretation of the diagram would be, but the only difference is that if you look at that position of pulley A, it has to be fixed because no mass will be hung over there. So the thread is just going to be fixed at A. So and then at B you are going to hang a mass M. Then at the center where you see something like a ring, that is where big M, the mass M naught to be at C. Then that center will contain the mass M without a subscript. So but before you set up this in this way, and the board you are seeing there is the drawing board, you have to use pin to hold the paper on that drawing board so that whatever measurement or tracing you want to do, you'll be able to trace it out. So the idea is that the line A to O, you have to trace it, and the trace will show on the paper. Then the line C to O, you have to trace it so that the trace shows on the paper. Then you have to draw a perpendicular Y, and the perpendicular Y according to that diagram, I'm going to bring back the diagram again for you to see. Just make sure you study what you see here and relate it to the picture you are seeing. So the perpendicular Y is drawn, by the time I hang the pulley this way, I'll draw a broken line. Then from that broken line, I would draw a perpendicular from the broken line to that point center where something like rings seems to appear. So that is perpendicular Y. You have to know the length of that Y when the masses at the center is being varied. So if you remove the mass now and you hang another one, maybe heavier one, you notice that it comes downward further. So you can measure the distance Y, which will increase as the masses increase. You get. So let's go through the procedure actually and relate it to the next slide of the diagram where you will see the diagram very well. So check it out here now. You can see, so the difference is that you are not going to hang any mass at A. So that's perpendicular Y will be measured, and as the mass big M begin to change, you would notice that the Y will begin to increase and the length will go more further. So you have to measure that Y. Then you have to measure the distance that from O to A, like I've said earlier. So and that is distance D. And you also note the distance OP. Though you are not going to, according to the procedure I'm going to show you now, you don't need the distance OP. you only and OC, you only need Y and D. So all we want to check now is the distance D and distance Y when you vary the masses, and you have to draw out your outline. So let's go through it now. So according to the procedure, this is what we're going to do. According to the diagram, use the diagram as guide and follow the instructions. So you attach the mass M naught to one end of the thread provided, then you fix the other end of the thread on pulley A according to that diagram you are seeing on the first board. So you pass the one that is connected to mass M naught, you pass it through pulley C and you suspend it. Make sure that the masses are not resting on the board, they are standing on all alone. The only thing you need to trace out is the line that the thread made, you get, with the board. So you trace it out and it's going to show on your paper. The line that thread makes will show on your paper when you trace it out. So you hang the first board vertically. You can hang it within your retor stand and you fix a paper on it, just like I've said. So the paper is always fixed behind the thread so that it will carry the information of what you have done by tracing it out. So you draw a line on the paper along direction AC. That is the broken line you can see in that diagram. So then you locate and mark the middle of that line. The middle in the sense that you locate the middle. If eventually you draw the line and it gives you 10 centimeters, so it means the midpoint is going to be 5. So you mark that midpoint. So after marking, you have to draw a normal to AC at B. So that normal, you have to draw it small first. Draw it small. That means at that point where you mark the midpoint, draw a normal there. Normal is a line that is perpendicular to line AC. You get. So after that, by means of loop of thread, there is a loop that I show you in form of ring the other time. Hang a mass M equals 70 gram from AC. So when you hang a mass along that thread, you get that forms AC. You get it. You know why? By the time you hang you pass the thread through the two pulleys, you are going to have that broken line will be formed until when you hang something at the middle before it comes downward, just like the diagram you are seeing. Oh, sorry that we could not bring this into reality, but at least I think you can get it. So you have to adjust the position of that loop so that the line of action of that mass M that you hang is in line with BP. Are you getting it now? That means it's line with BP, that's the normal to C, is in line with it. So ensure that M and M naught hang off the board. That means they are not resting on the board. Then you trace out the part AO, I've told you earlier, OC and OP of the thread. Then you have to measure and record distance Y, which is from the perpendicular, and also measure and record distance D, which is AO. So by doing that, you just have to evaluate I equals Y over D. And you repeat the procedure for masses like 100, 120, 150, and 170. Then you plot your graph. Let me show you how the table looks like. Yeah, before we even talk about how the table looks like, you are meant to tabulate your reading and plot a graph. So the graph is graph of I on vertical axis and M on horizontal axis. So you are plotting the graph of I, which is Y over D, against M on horizontal axis. Don't forget that M naught is fixed at that position. Then you determine the slope of your graph. Some might ask how a pulley looks like. So you see, this is how a pulley looks like, and you have a twine. You can use a thread that looks like this. You can see. So the thread looks like this. You can check. Now let's go to the table. See how the table seems to look like. So from the table now, you can see your serial number, the masses, the distance Y and D, then I equals Y over D. So after putting all these, you have to submit a trace of your paper alongside with your work. Then that is the end. So the next is just for you to plot your graph. So which is I against so after
M,
doing
that is
that, you
M.
calculate
So
your
you plot.
slope and then you do whatever calculation that you are required to do, and then according to that procedure, so you do the calculation and then that will be the end. So thanks for watching. Do well to practice this if you have the apparatus around you, and then plot your graph. You can give a comment and let us talk about it and see how it goes. So we don't know what the examiner will set actually, but at least this will prepare our mind on how things look like. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, it's free. Thank you, and share our videos. We are going to bring more videos on other aspects of physics. Though the electricity, we have to show the practical because the apparatus for that are definitely available. So we are going to shoot that and then expect for biology and other which is chemistry and others. So also we shoot videos based on A-level classes on this channel. So endeavor to share the channel to people who need them and people who would definitely benefit from it. Thank you.